So welcome back to another episode of Day One Radio right here on Live Hip Hop Daily. I'm Maurice Garland. Got my man Brandon Peters over there. What's going on, man?
Ain't nothing, man. How was your Thanksgiving, bro?
It came and it went.
It came
We're gonna
and
leave
it
it
went.
at that.
Hilarious. Well, hopefully everybody out there listening and watching had a great Thanksgiving. Mine was pretty cool. Just kicked it with the family. A lot of the family came out from different states, different cities, all of that. So we was deep playing dominoes, talking crazy, eating good as we do. Black Thanksgivings, you know. So this week has been, the talk of the town has been these Grammy nominations. And, me and Reese is always going to talk about what's going on. But, we was like, let's get an expert in here. Let's get one of our homies, producer, Henny the Businessman.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Several hits. Y'all see him. He done finally got from behind the camera in front of the camera this year, doing a lot of videos and content and stuff like that, man. But you also sit on one of the Grammy boards, right?
Yeah, I'm a governor for the board for Atlanta chapter. So
okay,
all's well. Yeah.
Now tell people how you get to that point. Like run down your resume and some of the things that you've done to get to that point. You don't just fill out an application and get hired for that.
No, to be a part of the the governor or be associate part of the board. You basically have to have one or two types of situations. You got to be an active member in the music community, whether you're a producer or a songwriter, an artist, somebody who's actually putting out music, and it has to be at least, I want to say, I forget the number, but I believe it's between 2 to 5 actual pieces of music that you've put out, professionally every few years to be able to become what they call a voting member. Now, when you sign up to the Recording Academy, there is a fee that you pay. I believe it's around $100. You know what I mean, to be a part of the academy, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's like the Grammys are the awards based from the Recording Academy, and when you get to the point where you're a voting member, you can actually vote on and nominate those artists in each genre. So you know what I mean? When you break it all down, it's a peer-to-peer award show where your peers, your voting members who are actively participating and are part of the Recording Academy are voting for you. And then on the opposite side, you have associate members who are managers, lawyers, people who work in the entertainment industry but aren't necessarily putting out recordings,
right?
And they have to be actively involved in the Recording Academy as well. They pay their fee and they become members as well to be able to vote. So you bring all these voting members from all these different places, from all these different chapters, and you compile these
so we talking
nominations, and
hundreds of people that vote, thousands of people that vote.
You're talking about the membership is roughly around 25,000-30,000 across the United States. And it's broke up in chapters, and each chapter has different trustees. You have your trustees, and you have your governors, then you have your members, and it breaks down like that. So it breaks down like any type of board, any type of situation like that. So you really got to go ahead and understand that when it comes down to the nominations, when it comes down to people getting frustrated about certain stuff,
we're gonna get to
that. It's a peer-to-peer thing, and it's a process. And the more that we understand, and the more that we have the knowledge about this, the more that we'll be able to help each other. Because there's a lot of music that we're doing in our community that should probably get a lot more claim than it is, but we need to know the process. So.
Now, obviously for years, since the very first category to even last year, every now and again, hip-hop people have been like, man, we boycotting the Grammys because the Grammys wasn't recognizing this one or that one. So what has the Grammys or the Recording Academy done to kind of like make sure the right people are nominated?
So what they have, right? So here's the process. Anytime between usually October 1st to the end of September of the following year is your eligibility to be nominated for your genre for a Grammy, right? So around the beginning of October, they'll send out to their members, who do you think should be nominated? Mm-hmm. Now the members anybody can actually nominate somebody, right? Mm-hmm. But the members are the ones who will be selecting, and a lot of times it is, you know, part of, I won't say popularity, but the person who comes first to your mind. So if it's artist of the year or record of the year, song of the year, hip hop artist of the year, you're thinking, okay, and you write them down. It's basically anybody could be submitted. I don't care if you just put your song on SoundCloud between that year and you just start to buzz, or you're super lit. You know what I mean? It's one of those things to where people are going to submit. Now, you got to understand the record labels are going to submit for their major artists. You know, the independent labels, they're going to submit for their artists. And then from there, you have what's called the steering committee. And so this is what kind of gets frustrating, and this is when people start to get upset, because you'll have these committees who will sit and listen to basically the top of that, you know, those nominations that came in, because they tally them up and say, who's the top, you know, on each genre, each category. And they're saying, okay, well, if he's, you know, if they sing and they do rap and they do this, should they be in the rap category or should they be in the R&B category? That's where you have a steering committee steer them in one genre to be put in what's called a nominations, the top nomination list. Now from there, a lot of genres that needed more clarification had committees, right? Okay. Where the committees would go and they would talk amongst themselves. Usually it's the peers of that genre, you know, the artists, the songwriters, the producers who are successful in that genre, to have a discussion about the top people in that list, to be able to get a top 5 that they're going to be put out, you know what I mean, as the nominations. So for years, like for hip hop and rap, they didn't have a nominations committee, and so a lot of people would be frustrated, because at the end of the day, it'll just be probably the top that are the most popular. Right. And then people are like, well, that's, you know, that wasn't the best, that wasn't the most acclaimed, that wasn't this and that. And then people are up in arms because the process seemed like it failed the genre. So now you bring in the committee, right? You bring in the people, you know, like let's say all of us are here and you have a discussion about who are these top 20. Let's go through the music and let's discuss why they should be the top. And then at the end of the day, those committee members are going to vote on it, and then it gets sent to like Deloitte to do their processing, and then you come back and you get your nominees.
Now, you said you have steering. Is there any swaying? Because I know that with the Oscars Academy, you know, if you go on like Hollywood Reporter that week leading up, you know, you'll see a whole bunch of letters and ads saying, for your consideration, please vote for this movie. Right. It's the same thing happened with the Grammy process. Do y'all get letters and emails like, please consider this because I know that you're on the board? Now,
it's very spoke against if you're a voting member or if you're on a committee to be taking any type of bribe, any type of look, you know what I mean, any type of quid pro quo, you know, to help that next artist to a certain situation. But that artist has every right to campaign and say, hey, look at your boy. Remember what I did. Go recheck my album. Like, you want to, like, if you're going to understand this process, you got to really realize that you got to campaign, specifically if you're going to compete against those who are a lot more, you know, noteworthy and being able to get that notoriety. Those guys are just going to automatically come on the top of the list every year. But there's those artists who had those great albums, excuse me, that might be overlooked, that might need a little for your consideration. Would you look at this? Would you check this back out? Would you know? And you want people to rally behind that, and that's when you want the end of the award show be like, damn, they got it right.
Yeah, because like, I mean? Cause I was asking that because I know we had Brian Michael Cox on the show. Was it last year around this time or 2 years ago? Around the similar
he's a
time
governor as well.
For the Grammys.
And happy birthday, Brian Michael Cox.
Happy birthday, yes sir, yes sir.
And so, you know, like when we have situations where people are not getting nominated and fans get mad, is it also sometimes where that particular artist may not have gave enough of a damn to campaign? They're like, you know, I didn't want one of y'all awards anyway, so I'm not gonna. You have folks like Frank Ocean, like, I'm not even gonna put my name in the pot this year.
Or this year, Drake, More Life wasn't submitted, right, for anything, right? Yeah,
he did not come up, and you know, I mean, it can be, you know, it's definitely artist label preference. You do not have to submit, but at the end of the day, I mean, we all have to learn the process so that we know. It's like, just like the elections coming up on Tuesday, like we got to understand everything that's going on so that we're well informed, so that we make the right decisions. Now you could be up in arms, but if you didn't understand what was going on, or you didn't get out there and campaign for the person that you felt that was, should take the trophy home or something like that, then it's like we're doing ourselves a disservice. And a lot of us just really need to understand the process so that we can at least become the voting members, because the more voting members that we have in the genres that we care about, right?
Yeah.
The more that we'll have the voting sway the way that we want it. So if we have all the voting members, and let's say 50% of them love, they love classical music.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? Like
that's what they know about.
That's what they know. So
right.
if they're still voting on the hip hop and the R&B and the stuff like that, and that's half of the votes, they might just, I think I've seen his name before.
Right.
Run it.
Yeah.
The same way that
like
people
real
vote.
elections.
Yeah, like vote for local elections. Oh man, they got a sign on 920. I'm gonna vote for them.
Exactly.
And so you don't know exactly what they're about. None of that. You don't know none of it, right? But the thing is, we have so many artists out here that are doing great things. They just need to get involved and at least become members.
Yeah,
you know
because
what I mean?
I do remember when it was like when Paul Wall first got involved and people were like, thank you, finally somebody in hip hop publicly being involved in the whole Grammy process, and that spurred a lot of other people in the community to get involved. So that's definitely what's up. I have a personal question.
Yeah.
I've always wondered this. What in the hell is a performance Grammy? Like, there's the best rap performance, best R&B performance, best rock. What is that? What does that mean?
Man, I'll be honest, and I don't even know. Like, when they break down these definitions, here's the thing. When I got started, I didn't even know what the difference was between record of the year and song of the year.
But that's a writer thing, right?
Right. Well, here's the thing. Here's the difference. Like, you're just like, okay, what's the biggest record? What's the biggest song of the year? I don't know. What's the difference? Now, the song of the year is awarded to the songwriters, and you have to look at that category as what was the best written song, written melody of the year. Not the whole record. Not the whole production, the mixing, the mastering. We're just talking about the songwriting, the melody, how it came together from a lyrical standpoint and a melody standpoint.
Gotcha.
That's the song of the year. The record of the year was for the best record, the best production, the best overall mix, the best overall performance on a record. And so you might have the same songs in both categories, and they,
for different reasons. So as a producer, when you were nominated under the song of the year.
If you're not
category.
a songwriter on the record, you will not win the Grammy.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? If you're the producer or the engineer, whatever, you're not going to win that. But on the record, if you're the producer or the engineer or any of those, you'll actually get the trophy.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So, well, man,
I mean, what I say all that to say, all of the definitions, because I had to get some more knowledge about, what's the difference between contemporary R&B album and traditional R&B album. And I'm like,
because like the urban contemporary thing, like when I saw Black was nominated in urban contemporary, I always thought urban contemporary was like Anita Baker, stuff like that.
They have traditional and then they have contemporary. So the words sound, but contemporary means the newer.
Okay.
Right? The traditional means the more traditional. And when it, that's another reason.
So it's kind of like the actual radio format is not correct. It's the urban AC thing.
Levels on top of levels.
You don't hear.
All I'm saying, going back, saying that we got to get involved.
Yeah.
Because if we get involved and then we're like, why is it that, because the drum pattern is a certain way, it has to be contemporary, even though it sounded more like traditional.
Yeah.
Now, if the law states a certain way, then you're going to feel like it's confusing, And we want to make sure that the genres that we care about, the urban categories that are doing very well in the entire market, are getting their just due.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I thought the nominations were good this year. I like that Jay-Z 444 got a lot of nominations. Obviously, Kendrick got a lot of nominations. SZA as well, which was super dope. I think that's going to open up an entire new world to her. But let's get into some of the categories and who we think should win. I don't know if you can say or not.
I can't really. I can talk about it in general, but I mean,
did you already vote?
The actual voting cards have not been released yet.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, actually, we can vote
So
online this year. But
you guys still have time to try to convince them to vote. One of the ones I thought was in best rap song performance. So you got Black with Problems. You got Gold Link with Crew, which is, the song with Brent Faiyaz and Shy Glizzy. You got Jay-Z featuring Beyonce with Family Feud, Kendrick Lamar and Rihanna with Loyalty, and SZA and Travis Scott with Love Galore. Who do you want to win, Reese, and who do you think will win?
I'd like to see Black or Gold Link win, but I think they're going to give it to Kendrick and Rihanna.
I feel like those awards, what people would term secondary awards, if Kendrick doesn't get Album of the Year or Song of the Year, then he'll get that. That's kind of like, because it's like, because if I'm voting, I'm like, he deserves something, but maybe not that award.
And that's how, that's how probably a lot of people vote. Like, because it's all one ballot. And you're like, I guess can't put Kendrick for everything. I love that album, but let me just, And the good thing about the voting process this year is that, before they would send it in the mail, you would get a ballot and you couldn't refresh your memory. Now they have it online. They have the music along with it.
That's good.
So if you want to do your due diligence, you can go back and be like, this was mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And do that. But, when it comes to these categories, a Grammy is a Grammy. You know what I mean? Like you win Album of the Year. That's a whole nother level, changing. Right?
Now, quick question. So
I ain't giving. Can I tell who I think gonna win?
Oh, my bad, sir. Go ahead. We did not get your
I honestly do not think Jay-Z and Beyonce are going to be nominated for an award together and not win. Like, I don't think that's going to be possible in this world right now. But what was your question, bro?
Like, so a lot of media reports are saying, like, this is the year that the Grammys, quote unquote, finally got it right. Because, you got a lot of, people of color getting nominated or whatnot. So I want to know, like, was there something like that actually changed behind the scenes to have all these nominations, or do you think
it would be that there's a real hip hop committee now?
But then on top of that, do you think it's a thing where it's just the bottom line most popular form of music on the planet, and it's undeniable at this point that you see all these nominations now?
I think the great thing about what's happening right now is, the fact that streaming is the biggest listened platform for music consumption is showing you now you can't fluff it. You can't, ice it over because of pop radio or urban radio and this and that. It's all one playing field, all streaming.
Yeah, because they did allow streaming last year.
And so when and when I'm talking about the Apple Music, Spotify's, they're all the same. Like, it doesn't matter. Now you look at the hip hop and urban genres, they're just super high compared to the others. Yeah. And you got to understand that that's what people want to listen to. That's what's most popular. And so we're making, it might not even say that we're making better music, but our music's getting heard by a lot more people.
That's what people want to
hear. Yeah. And so now when they say you got it right, it's basically saying that, like, yes, this music is the most popular.
You're reflecting what the people are saying.
And then on top of that, if you're going to reflect on that, let's make sure that we have all the committees and all the things ready and available to have the right discussions.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Best rap album of the year. Okay. Jay-Z 444, Kendrick Lamar Damn, Migos Culture, Rhapsody, Layla's Wisdom, Tyler the Creator, Flower Boy.
I want to see Rhapsody win, but
me too.
They're going to give it to Jay-Z.
Or Kendrick. I'd say, again, whoever does not win Album of the Year, or if they both don't win, then it's going to go to one of them. The album we don't have here, which we alluded to earlier with people being frustrated, is Tribe Called Quest. We got it from here. Q-Tip was very upset.
He was upset, but like the first thing, like I was listening to his argument, and it's almost like he was arguing his way out of it, because like you start off saying, man, how you gonna have us perform last year and close the show last year and then not nominate us? It's like, bro, they gave you a lot already, my dude. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't think you got pimped in any degree.
And then let's be real. Now let's go all the way back and say it's a peer-to-peer situation. Now, if we looked at it from the standpoint of what I talked about from the beginning, you got people that need to go and make sure your stuff is being nominated, throwing in that has nothing to do with the people that are in those buildings at the Recording Academy. So everybody around you, all your peers, all your fans, all your followers, those are the people that need to be nominating you. And then when it gets to the point where it gets to the steering committee, of course it's going to stay in the hip hop realm. And then when it gets to the nominational committee and everybody's sitting at that table discussing this music, that's the peers that are saying, hey, these are the albums that we felt were the best. And so you can't really blame it on the system when it's your peers that are saying, this is what we came up with to make it the top. And then we're bringing it back to the people to make it the top one.
And I mean, we got to be honest. I haven't heard Tyler's album. I don't really listen to Tyler, the Creator, like that. I respect what he does. I've heard the rest of the albums. Tribe's album was not better than any of the rest of those albums. The album is not good, yo. Like, people really liked it from jump because of the nostalgia. Fife had passed, rest in peace, Fife.
Yeah.
But it's not even a Tribe album. It's a Q-Tip album that has a little bit of Fife on there, some Consequence, and guest appearances. Ali Shaheed Muhammad was barely around. Or like, let's be 100. Like, it's crazy.
And one of the things that you'll hear people say is when they talk about getting it right, it's like at the end of the night or at the end of that segment, and they say the Grammy goes to for best hip hop album of the year, Tribe Called Quest, and then people will be like, wait, was it though? And then then Twitter explodes,
and it would be more of a lifetime achievement award than anything.
And so it's not that it wasn't, horrible, and it's not that it was the greatest. It's just saying that compared to the other albums that came out this year, it might not have been in the top 5.
Yeah, now, it's not.
Do y'all think Future got snubbed? Because that dude released a lot of music.
And that's another thing. If you release a lot of music and you can only submit one.
Okay.
You can't submit everything. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't say, I dropped 5 albums this year. Why can't I get it?
I did see somebody say that there's no way that Mask Off shouldn't have been nominated. I was like, let's keep it 100. A song with a hook of Molly and Percocet is not getting nominated for a Grammy. Let's keep it 100.
Okay.
I
mean, we've had different...
Unless Johnny Cash is singing it. Like, we ain't there yet, people.
Okay. All right. Straight up.
We ain't there yet. But I was happy to see Cardi B nominated. People be hating on Cardi B. I don't know why. But she got nominated twice. Like, more power to her, man.
And you got to realize that, like, not in these times, like, the way you're perceived culturally, way you're perceived in the marketplace, it might be just as good as how good your music is. The only issue with somebody like Cardi B is she just got to keep putting out more music so she has a catalog of music that people can actually be like, okay,
right,
I get it. But for her presence right now, it's valid.
The beauty of it is, again, with streaming, like, anytime she drops a song, it's gonna pop up in the new songs thing so you don't have to search. You don't have to look. Whereas before, like, yo, bro, when you gonna drop something new? And you like, dude, I dropped something last week. That's not really a thing no more. It's right there. Especially with algorithms, because they know what you're listening to.
Exactly.
So it's gonna come up. What we want to do? Album of the year overall, man. We got Bruno Mars, 24K. Childish Gambino, Awaken My Love, Jay-Z 444, Lord Melodrama, and Kendrick Lamar, Damn.
Hey man, that Bruno was jamming, shawty. Like, that Bruno was kind of jamming. Like, I think he's gonna win it though. I think, like, I mess with that Bruno. I mess with the Bruno album more than the other nominees. Actually, know what I'm saying?
My brain says Bruno's gonna win. My gut says with the Lifetime Achievement Award that Jay is going to take this one home.
I mean, it's one of those things to where I just look at that category by itself and, we've never had it look like that.
Yeah.
Never.
And never, ever. Not, they said it's the first time in over 20 years that there's never been a white male in that category. Yeah. So you got to look at that dynamic. And then, two, it's just like, you got Kendrick, you got Jay, you got Bruno. You know what I mean?
Childish. And Lord,
like
a woman.
Yeah.
Like the category is so black. It's this insane. Like
super black.
I'm telling you, it's game changing for real because. You know,
which is why Lord cannot win. There'll be riots in the streets.
Oh man,
that's crazy. It's different kinds of black at the same time too.
Yeah.
Different kinds of black.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if Childish wins, it's just unfair. That dude is just he's so talented. Like, let somebody else get a shot, bro.
Yeah, he wins every award and every.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. Record of the year again. Childish Gambino with Redbone. Despacito, which is a Daddy Yankee, Justin Bieber, and Luis Fonsi record. Jay-Z, Story of OJ, Kendrick Lamar, Humble, and Bruno Mars, 24K.
Knowing how you just broke it down, you know what I'm saying? Now, I think the Childish should win for that. You know what I'm saying? I like, you know, there's a lot going on where I can see a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, getting credited and contributing to that. Even though it's like one dude that produced it, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, I knowing how the way Hen just broke it down, I think Childish should get that over the others.
Even though it's not strictly popularity and numbers, I don't see how Despacito doesn't come out of the Grammys at least winning one award.
And it's
because that song was huge.
That song is beyond huge.
Yeah,
and you know, it's worldwide, and it's just that's one of those records that is just unstoppable. Like you just better get out of
Wiz Khalifa's record for most YouTube views ever. It's like in like the trillions or billions. It's some crazy shit.
It's insane. And I'll tell you like this, it's like, you know, still that's another diverse record, you know. And so if you want to start showing the diversity, you know what I mean, like they're really like there's probably gonna be a lot of middle America up in arms at that award show, but that's what America looks like right now.
How gangster would it be for a Latin record to win Record of the Year?
Yeah, that's not even
that would be hard.
It's in Spanish.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I mean that's very big. You know, you had the Macarenas back then, and
right. I mean, my man Carlos Santana had a huge year that one year.
But this is, you know, like you just look at everything and you're like, there's a lot of great representation and diversity for sure.
Right, definitely. Yeah, I just looking at the list, I didn't realize that Logic was actually nominated for Song of the Year. One of his records.
The Suicide song.
Yeah. That's big too.
I
still don't think Logic is
I'll never know how to what's the name of the song? Like you just gotta really memorize
1-800-273-8255.
The suicide hotline. Yeah. Which is dope. I just, you know, I mean, I
didn't even realize that was nominated. That's big. So last one we talk about best new artist. So you got Alicia Cara, Khaled, not DJ Khaled, but Khalid, excuse me. DJ Khaled, some say Khalid. Right. Lil Uzi Vert, Julia Michaels, and SZA. What you think, Reese?
Yeah, because like half of them like aren't new to me. So
I'm trying to think.
So, but
Alicia Cara and SZA are definitely not new.
Right. And like Uzi ain't that new either.
Uzi dropped his first album at least.
True. And one of
I don't know about that one.
I remember reading that they said like when they come to prominence, when they come to the light, like, you know what I mean. A lot of these artists you might not think are new, but they just came to light.
Like know what I mean? Esperanza Spalding a couple years ago.
Exactly.
Right. I think this one's always tricky. That best new artist one is always tricky.
I'm just glad
he said Uzi,
SZA, Alicia Cara, Khalid, excuse me, and Lil Uzi Vert.
I think Khalid has a dark horse chance at it. You know what I'm saying?
People love him, yo.
Yeah, like he's like a generational icon, he's like to those teenagers, man.
He's the boy next door guy.
Yeah,
you know, he's like the guy that, you know, he's the homie that's the homie's homie, and he was just talented, and you just want to root for him.
Yeah, you know? I kind of ride with you on. I think SZA. I would want SZA to win, but I think her glow up has been a little too recent for it to work. I think the glow up has been like the last 2-3 months, to whereas people will be like, she hasn't done it for the whole year.
But you got to think about like it. You know, if she's still in the limelight and she's still very valid when these ballots come out, then people are
first
like,
top 10 hit.
Yes.
She got a top 10 hit now.
Like,
That's who I want to win. I agree with you. I think Khalid is gonna win. For the homies, though, it would be super dope if Uzi won for Drum and all the homies, the whole generation.
just to have
that
him,
would be crazy.
Just to make, you know, and like we said, there's multiple areas. Once again, different artists, multiple different areas of black music.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
It's dope. It's dope.
Most definitely. Man, dude, we appreciate you coming
appreciate
through,
y'all
man.
having
Chopping
me.
up game. Hopefully
Yes,
y'all
sir.
learned a lot, man. We're going to take a quick break. We got another brother in the building. We want to discuss another timely story that's kind of crazy, man. Always proud when AUC cats do their thing, especially current students, man. But Henny, thank you for coming through, bro. Please let people know where to find you.
Yeah, so
on
they can
social
harass
media.
you to get nominated.
And check out all the cool shit you doing right now.
Well, you know, I got this thing called Adventures in Beat Making that I do every week. And you can check me on all my social media platforms at Henny the Business. That's HennyThabizNess or adventuresinbeatmaking.com. Yep.
No doubt. You listen
Thank
you listen to the Day One Radio? We'll be right back.
Sure, man.
Yes, sir.
Yep.